Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Grif.
Baka.
What's up, guys?
What's up? Every time.
I hate Oak's face, man. I can't do the intro without him his ass laughing. Just gotta cover up his face whenever I try to do the intro.
So what games
That's
has everybody
better.
been playing this week?
she caught herself this time.
Not much. Overwatch and Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go? You back on that? Are you like trying to collect them all? Oh. Nice.
It doesn't die in 10 minutes of playing.
New phone. Which Pokemon dis?
Don't talk to me.
It's Jigglypuff.
That's pretty good, though. I liked it.
I'm glad you can play again, Baka. If Baka freezes, I'm putting his new picture up. Everything went potato for a second, but I like everything went potato except for Baka's bounced back the fastest. The one that usually freezes and goes away. So, what else? What else have we been playing? What other games have we been playing?
I've got a few of them, actually. So, like I said last week, I'm starting Spider-Man, so I started playing it. Really enjoying playing the game. Of course, the open world feels great, and I like the fact that you can go anywhere you want in the little Manhattan area that they've got set up for you. It's massive. It's great. It makes me want to 100% the game because of the way they built it, but they keep adding shit to it to 100%, and I'm like, because I'll meet somebody and they'll go, oh, and I've got these things that you can find throughout the city, and I'm like, stop it. I'm really close to finding all the rest of this shit. You give me more shit to go find. I hate you. But the storyline's really nice. I like it. This goes back to one of the things that from E3 that people were bitching about is the fact that, at least this is what my thought process was, they were complaining about the Avengers game and the fact that it wasn't the people from the cinematic universe. Well, neither is fucking Spider-Man. Spider-Man... Like
I think it's because we have a new Spider-Man every 15 minutes.
Yeah,
anyway.
we've had like 6 different Spider-Mans in the last 20 years.
But it was my thought process is it didn't keep people from going, well, I'm not going to play this game because it's not the Spider-Man I know, or whatever. It's like, it's an enjoyable game, and it was up for a bunch of Best Game of the Year awards, and it's just fun and entertaining, and sold a shit ton of it, and it's like, why? Like, just be open-minded to the fact that the Avengers might be something different for you. It might be shit, but be open to it.
Part of it is the fact that, like, I mean, I know there was legal issues about using the movie versions of them, but they didn't even try to go by like the comic book versions either, and it just kind of they just look weird.
The weird looking people.
I mean, it really doesn't bother. I mean, they didn't bother me that much, but I guess maybe
Everybody's different.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I do gotta ask: have you seen the movie theater? Remember how they had the proposal? Did they change it?
What?
I have not. I've not gone to look for it, to be honest.
You gotta find it.
I got it,
updated
but I do know I was outside of a theater and it didn't have a regular marquee on it. It was something different, and I was like, "Is this it? Did they change it to this? Because this would be kind of dumb." Because I felt like the marquee should still be a marquee, and then they just changed whatever. I'll have to find it.
Yes,
I'll have
definitely.
to see if I can find it. Figure out where
Scavenger
it's at.
hunt in the city.
Yeah, I mean, I'll look it up. I'm sure somebody will let me know where it's at on the internets. On the internets, got it. So played that. I've been, as I started last week. I'm playing Final Fantasy 15, and I'm going to be honest to anybody that watches me on a regular basis for my stream. I actually end it early just so I can play Final Fantasy 15 afterwards. I'm enjoying playing that by myself, though, and it's a good way to wind down just before you go to bed. I love the storyline. I love the characters. The world that they've built for this just feels gigantic. And so I think it's brilliant. I like it a lot. So I'm enjoying it. Then I have decided to go ahead and start playing Wizards Unite, which she was talking about as Pokemon Go, which is same company, right? And I wanted to see what the difference was. So I actually would pull one up in the same area, pull Pokemon Go up versus the other one. For those that have played Pokemon Go, where you go around and you have your Pokestops and you do your little spinnies and all that stuff, instead they have, like, they look like houses, like they're cottages, and you go to the cottage and you spin, look like cake top things, the things like you'd put a cake in it and then you just cover the top of the cake. Look like those, and they spin around, and then one of them pops out and gives you your stuff. So it's very, very interesting. And then the other one was they've got castles that you have challenges. So instead of the gyms that you would go to and then make your way through, you just have to beat a layer of a challenge that, and then beat the next layer if you can, and then just continually get it to where you can beat the entire castle. So it's a little different. And then they also have greenhouses that the greenhouses give you ingredients to make potions that you can use for the battles. It's a little. I kind of like Pokemon Go better, if I'm not gonna lie. I'm a big Harry Potter fan, but I'm playing it and I'm kind of like, I just felt like it feels better with Pokemon Go. Like, it feels like you're actually doing what you're supposed to be doing, going out and hunting these things. And I'm gonna play it for a little longer, just to see. But I feel like Pokemon Go is the better of the two, for sure. Same company, but I just feel they did a better job with it than they did the other. And I'm sure this will get a lot more people going out and walking around like it did with Pokemon Go for a while. But I feel like Pokemon Go is more of home if you're going to do it, that type of thing.
I feel like the collection in Pokemon Go makes more sense than going out and being a wizard to fight monsters.
Is there like
there's a collection there too, but it's different. It's so let's say you go up and you find they're called the Calamity. I have no idea why it's called that, but anyway, so you're finding foundables. It's the Harry Potter world. They always have weird names for stuff.
Foundables.
So you're finding foundables, and it might be where a bad guy has a hold of a foundable, and now you're trying to get the bad guy away from the foundable, and then you collect the foundable, and then you have certain categories. So today there's 6 things on a page. You have to find all 6 of those to move on to the second level of that group. It's very interesting on how it's built. I'm not really sure. Like I with Pokemon Go, like if you caught multiples of something, you're using that in order to be able to evolve something or to get bigger and higher. That's not there, and I don't like. I need that. I don't know why I need that. If I want a Caterpie and I want 25 of them in one little area, then I want to be able to get those.
Yeah.
But this doesn't really make as much sense. So I just don't think it was as well thought out, or maybe it's more complicated. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just simpler for Pokemon Go and it just makes a little bit more sense. I don't know. So, but I'll let y'all know next week because I'm going to play a little bit more, and then I'll make a final decision on if I'm deleting this game or not. So, but that's what I had.
Well, mine ties into chickens. One of them does, so I'll talk about the other one, and then that I started Far Cry 4 again. It's summer, and so in the summer is when I'm most stressed out, and when I'm stressed out, I use games like comfort food. So it's one of my comfort games, and I wanted that. Like, Chicken's like, why are you playing that one? I was like, I wanted this specific shoot mechanic. That's what I wanted, because...
And then I said that she could play Far Cry Primal because it's the exact
same
shoot
I forget that we
mechanics.
have that all the time.
Like,
I just forget about it, to be honest.
Like, they are recycled. Far Cry is recycled mechanics. You can play all of them and feel at home. Be 100% honest.
Okay, certain games have certain weapons or mechanics that just feel really good, and Far Cry, like, across the board, Far Cry's bow just feels amazing to use. I just love it.
And Far Cry Primal has nothing, like, mostly a bow. There's no guns in that.
No, I understand.
Bow and spear, right?
Yeah, and it's a little too before
guns. I just forget that we
guns.
have Far Cry Primal.
I'm gonna put it in there, and I'm gonna tape it to the side of your TV.
I'll put it,
so be like,
look,
remember.
It's because it's an Xbox game, and so it's in the case instead of it being in my Steam library, which is where I was playing that. So that's part of it, too, is that I forget about it because it's in a drawer. Sorry. But I'll play it, Chicken, I swear.
No, you won't.
Right this second. Yes, I will.
I don't believe you.
Tell me what to do.
I don't believe you.
I will also never not love the intro to Far Cry 4. Like the whole pagan men introduction and everything is just so good. One of my favorite openers to a game ever. But then earlier this week, Chicken and I played a game together that was great until like the last 30 minutes of it, and then I regretted playing anything. We played A Way Out, which is the one where it's the two guys in prison. You have to break out, and there's more to it than just breaking out. Play. Yeah, we did. We played it on stream, so if you want to see it, it's on Chicken's Twitch at the moment. Yes. But it was really good up until the end, and then I was angry about things.
I'll give it to them. They hit, like, the ending style that they wanted to do for it was pretty good. Like, I understand what they were doing. It was just very forced. Like, you did not have much say in the way that it went. There were not many other options. It was like, basically, all right, here's your scenario, and this is it. You don't get to choose how you do this. Like, you just have to play this scenario. And
well, there is a choice. It's option A or option B, but they both, have roughly the same outcome.
Yeah. It's like, but I don't
like these options. They suck. The game itself, though, like up until that point, was very enjoyable. Like breaking out of prison with Chicken. My sister watched some of it, and she's like, "Yeah, I was dying." Like, right? Sometimes we're funny. Sometimes it's not that we're funny; we're just bad at things.
I got to watch the very beginning with y'all, and it was hilarious for me because it would be one of those things where. I feel like any of us would be doing this too, though. It's look, I can see you on my screen. Can you see me on your screen? I can see you on my screen. Can you see me on your screen?
Yes, there was that moment of, can you see me? Can you see me? Do you see me now? I see you.
I thought it was enjoyable though. Like I like the two of you playing games together. Mainly because Grif's funny anyway, but when she's playing, but it's funny to see those facial expressions do it. But I like the fact that you had the split screen to where like the split screen video of your cameras, so we could see who had what on that one because the way it was set up was great.
That was perfect. It worked out so much better than I thought it was going to. And having this video app that we're using now is so good. Like it worked out so well.
Yeah.
Very happy with it.
It was a lot of fun. I kind of wish, like, I don't want every game that has co-op to do the split screen like that, but I wish that more did have that. Because I think that's an interesting...
his next game is going to do that too.
Well,
so.
I'm sure it's going to be kind of his thing, probably. Which I'm fine with. I'm okay with that. I just wish that maybe the next one didn't have to end.
This is a great foundation for games like this. Like, this is a fantastic foundation to build from. I can't wait to see what else they could do with it. But I gotta say, the hospital scene was incredibly well done.
Yeah, because we did get individual, like, if it swapped. Instead of it being split screen the whole time, the action swapped. Because we were both on the run, but we were separate from each other. So I would, like, run through a door, and it would pick up with his character on the other side of the door, so it would go to him, and it would just be full screen of what he was doing. And then I'd, he'd throw somebody out a window, and the guy would land next to me, and it would swap back to my character. It just went
was so good. Like the transitions, like he would run through a door and it would just like the camera would keep going through the door and into another room, and then it would be her character, and then she would run and like turn into a door, and it would go through the vent and then go down to the bottom floor, and it would be my character running. The transitions were so good.
It was very slick. I mean, it was a great way to write an action scene in a co-op game. So that you let both players equally feel badass because they got their moments to shine instead of it always being shared.
Yes,
that's cool.
A lot of fun.
You really enjoyed that. I'm glad we finally got to play it. When there was the argument about doing away with couch co-op and like split screen, like I think Halo was one of the ones that everybody was like, "I'm so glad that you brought it back." This is why you need it. Is because every once in a while, like this is what happens, and it works really nicely, and it's nice to be able to see how things are playing out on the other screen too. So,
yes, for sure. It was
not
really
saying
nice.
Every game, but it'd be nice if there were more of them.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it, to make it feel like it's a couch co-op too. You know what I mean? Like where if you're playing multiplayer games now, you don't get to see that option there, of course. But everybody gets to experience it in the room if you are playing a couch co-op. And I just think I like the idea of the fact that you're creating a game that's multiplayer online that feels that way. And now, I mean, even if you did it, I don't care. I mean, unless you're playing a fighting game where you're battling out back and forth, there's no other way to do that than what they did. So I think it's brilliant. I am interested to see how he ends up doing his next game though, because he's changed and innovated each time he's created a game. Because the first one, which was the brothers game that he did, the two brothers, with that one you're using the left stick to do one brother and the right stick to do the other brother on your controllers. And so moving on to something like this was neat. And if he's going to he's just expanding on that technology. Okay, we're still going to do the co-op split screen, but I'm going to change how we're doing the thing. It's like, oh, what are you going to do? You're going to do a horizontal splint instead of a vertical.
Well, they did that. It swapped back and forth.
Yeah, it swapped to horizontal for a later part of the game. Which was, which was fun.
And it was really weird, like yesterday, Chicken and I, because we played this, I think it was like Sunday and Monday we played that. And then yesterday we were catching up on the second season of Westworld, and like 15 minutes into the show, we're like, that guy is that? And it's the voice actor character model for the character that I played, Leo. I was like, hey!
I heard that voice and I was like, wow, that sounds super familiar. Why do I, like, holy shit. And then when it showed the character, I was like, oh my god.
Interesting coincidence that I thought was funny.
Absolutely. Yes. I really like how they like handled the camera. Whenever a certain character becomes important, it'll just kind of like shift their screen over or push the other screen off screen, and it'll focus on the one character as their events are playing out. Like, I think a lot of the camera work was like heavily developed into it, kind of.
It was really smart
to show the stories. Yeah, it was really well done. I really enjoy it. And only one person has to play it. The other person can download the trial version and then play with you for free.
Yeah, which is nice. I like that too. Like, we even kind of, like, finagled it a little more because Chicken had, like, free time on...
Okay, I had free basic on EA for a week, so I was like, all right, this is perfect. I went ahead and got the free week, and then I went ahead and downloaded it and got her the free the trial version, and then I hosted the game and she played with me, and we got to play it for free. So, really good game.
Test it out. Would recommend.
Very enjoyable. Find you a partner and play it.
Find you a partner. Well, you can play online though too. You can just almost like matchmaking. So.
Yeah.
Just keep in mind that you have to talk to people.
Yeah.
For antisocial people like me, that's scary.
Talk to people.
Yeah. I barely want to talk.
You're talking to people right now.
Talking to people's overrated.
You're talking to people too.
What other games did you play this week, Chicken?
You're not people. You're friends.
Same as usual, Overwatch and Total War Warhammer, or not Warhammer, Total War 3 Kingdoms.
There you go. Make sure you get it right.
Yes. I'm still stuck in 3 Kingdoms. Oh, woe be me.
Oh no. Well,
sucks that game so good.
Do you have any 3 Kingdoms stories to share? Or should we talk news?
Not this week. It was a boring when I started up a new campaign.
Again. Alright. Well, there's some news. It's not much.
It's
but
pretty dry week.
Well, it's right. It's right after E3. What did you really expect?
Yeah, we've been through this every year.
Right before and right after, usually relatively quiet because everybody just talked about everything. So.
Yep.
Out of the handful of stories, what would you like to talk about first?
One that is close to your heart. Nintendo is releasing their new smartphone game, new mobile game, Dr. Mario.
Yeah, but it's like a Candy Crush Dr. Mario, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Hey, if it's free, you could try it.
Yeah.
And see if you like it.
But it's gonna be one of those like, oh no, you died 3 times. Now you have to wait 5 hours or pay $30. Like, no.
That's how most games are anyway.
Yeah, I know.
And to be fair, there's an easy trick around that. If you see yourself failing, just close the app and then reopen it, and it doesn't count as a loss.
Look at that, Chicken's figured out how to game the system.
Let Nintendo figure that out and compensate it.
Yeah, then they may have done it. Because I play a game, too, that has that life feature, and every time I see myself losing, I just close the app and start it back up, and I still have all my lives. It's like, okay, cool. All right, close it up.
Nice.
Never have to wait. Don't ever lose a life either.
How to cheat the system.
Yeah, fuck that shit, man. They want to try to
but
make
it's also
money off things like
not
that.
like real Dr. Mario. It's Candy Crush.
Candy Mario.
Candy Mario? Yes.
Candy Mario.
So, I don't know. I mean, thankfully, real Dr. Mario is on the Switch. So, at least I have that.
Yes. She doesn't play that every so often.
What else? Oh, we're out of news. That's it. Bye, everybody.
Sorry,
Have a
folks.
nice
Yes,
day.
Dr. Mario.
I think
That's
the main one is the one that's going to be talked about the longest has to do with and let's just get into it. Why don't we?
All right.
We have
Oh my goodness.
some idiot large companies, and I'm saying idiot because of the way they responded to questions. They had to go in front of Parliament this week about loot boxes and about some of their ethical behavior when it comes to how they promote things. And so they went up for a lot of big questions. EA and Epic were the two that were basically there.
Yep.
And
God damn.
by the way, EA does not call loot boxes anymore, evidently. They call them surprise mechanics and
Yeah.
compared them to Kinder eggs. What? Like,
That's
why
not-
is that?
People like
No.
surprises. That's why.
People do like surprises. Okay, a lot of people like surprises, some don't. But regardless, that's not a surprise mechanic. That is a loot box. And like, you can't tell me they don't call them loot boxes when EA specifically said when announcing the Star Wars game that they would not have loot boxes. They used the actual word loot boxes. So I mean, you know, that is what you call them. You don't call them surprise mechanics, and that's a stupid thing to call anything anyway. Surprise mechanic is when a jump scare happens. That's a surprise.
Surprise.
Or a change like a changing mechanic throughout the game. Like, oh, this button did this. Surprise! Now it does this.
I'll be so mad about that. Don't give them ideas. This button used to be your melee. Now it throws grenades. Well,
oh,
that was
boy,
a wall.
surprise mechanic. I can't believe that these higher up folks came out here with this kind of argument for this.
They were not prepared. Like, the guy from Epic said that Epic Games doesn't make money off of their games. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that, you know, all those loot boxes.
When it was said, the way that the question was worded was and answered, I was like, this is what you're going to die on. This is what you decided was going to be argument. This is it. So basically the question was asked about making about players making they're making money off players playing the game. Right. The guy's answer was, I don't think that we actually make money off people playing the game.
Well, I mean, I guess technically, if you want to get 100% bare bones about that statement, like if you're trying to lawyer it, sure, they don't make money off of people physically playing the game. They make money off of people playing the game and buying the in-app purchases. So technically, just shooting the gun doesn't make them a cent.
Technically, and the game is free, so technically they don't make any money playing the game.
But
they make money
basically
off of
they
people
tried
spending
to
money.
lawyer the crap out of that answer right there, and it came across as sounding stupid.
Yeah, I mean, you've got 85 million people that have this downloaded on some type of device.
Yeah.
You're making $200 million a month.
Not from them playing it, though. Not from them playing it, though.
Right?
They don't
That's
play it and
the
make
caveat there. It's not.
Yeah,
because
that money
playing
just
it.
grows off their money trees.
They don't make money off of any of the games that they have. I mean, all of those Epic Store exclusives, that was all charitable donations from a mystery benefactor.
I love the fact that, like, the very first question that Epic was asked was Prince Harry had made a comment about the fact that the game was addictive, and he didn't like the fact that the game was addictive. Their response was, "Our game's addictive?" Like, it's like, really?
I mean, okay.
Wow, what a response.
I would like to point out that, yes, it is hilarious how terrible these people were at answering these questions, and that it was laughable how they delivered some of these answers and just didn't know what they were talking about. But at the same time, I just want everybody to keep in mind, and like in the back of your mind, think about it this way. The World Health Organization just said that gaming addiction is an actual disorder, which means now governments are going to look into regulations, which means this is just the gateway. Like, loot boxes are the gateway to regulating every single bit of the industry. And the fact that we've had a time, like, journalists specifically, like, big outlets have had plenty of time to hold games like this accountable, like Fortnite and all of this other stuff, but instead ran fluff pieces about them and didn't scrutinize them closer, and players continue to play into that. When we get to this dystopian future point where the government is regulating how long you can play, because they asked about playtime and nobody could give them an answer, and what kind of games you can play, this was the catalyst for it. Like, it's hilarious in the moment, but the implications are not. They're very serious.
It's going to turn out to be very bad in the future.
Yes.
I mean, we've had plenty of time to correct it, and they've given...
I think that what you're doing, though, on this particular case, it really depends on what they're going to end up trying to do. I think there are things that they need, that they're looking at from an industry standpoint that maybe they do need to change from a governmental standpoint, or they need to force the organizations that do it a little differently. Because one of the things they did talk about, too, was the age rating on Fortnite, for example. Mm-hmm. They asked about it, and Epic literally looked at them and said, it's not our responsibility. It's Nintendo, Xbox's, and PlayStation's responsibility, because they have in their system set up already that, this is how old the person is when you're registering it in, whether or not it has a lock. And I thought about it too. I was like,
that's passing the blame.
It asks for a lock. It's not automatically locked, and I have to tell it that I'm over 18 years old. They ask for a lock. And so the game the system itself automatically comes 18 plus. Like, if you think about it, if you go buy an Xbox right now, it's automatically 18 plus. It's asking you as a parent to make it to where it's age suitable for your kid, to where they can't purchase something above what you want them to. So they threw Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo under. They tried to. But no one, and what blew my mind, which granted I'm dealing with politicians that don't necessarily game and aren't well informed when it comes to this. No one questioned the fact that they have their own PC client.
Yep. Well, they've got their servers, so technically shouldn't you have to check in with your servers before you can play the game? Like, isn't that partly your responsibility to double check that kind of stuff? Because does that mean on PC they don't ask because it's not, it's not Nintendo or PC. Microsoft or anything? I mean, like,
it's not asked on PC. It's done exactly the same way, which is it starts off 18 plus no matter what.
Yep.
And I mean, it would be really hard to buy a system. Can you imagine if it was the play everybody level? You had to figure out your way to get to the 18 plus. And I mean, it's not that hard to get past those systems now either. I mean, think of Steam. Steam asks you before they ever show you a trailer for something that's...
They're like, what's your birthday?
Constantly, they're like, are you sure this is your birthday? We're not even going to remember your birthday. What's your birthday? How old are you? How old are you? Let me... oh my God, how many times do I have to put this in?
Well, you can... if you're logged into your Steam account, though, there's a button that's like, remember this, or don't ask me again.
You know how many times I've clicked that fucking button?
The last time I clicked it, I've never seen it again, so...
Yeah, I've got... It's like, save mine, and it fucking still asks me every time. It's like, oh my God, why? Why? Do you think I'm lying or something? It's probably because I...
but I mean, how do you combat that, though? Like, do you have them put in, like, their driver's license / public ID number so that you can tell exactly? Because that gets into the government side of things, because then it's accessing a government record to verify your age. I mean,
I don't know how you
regulate that any better. Step 1, be better parents. So if your child is under 18, please know what they're doing.
Parents also need better tools to be able to be like, all right, here's a write-up of how much Fortnite your child has played this month. Holy shit, how are they playing this fucking much?
Well, okay, I guess technically you could do that. You could require either Epic, since you have to have an Epic account in order to be able to play those games anyway. Mm-hmm. Require Epic to where once it doesn't matter whose account it is, whether it's an adult or a kid, it literally says for the week or for the day, your kid it sends an email and just says you've played this much this week. Yeah, and it breaks it down per day.
This is what I keep referring back to. Is Steam keeps up with total playtime, and Steam also keeps up with your weekly playtime. Because if you go to your profile, you can see your most recently played, and it'll be like time played this week, and then total time played. So
yeah,
Steam
but that's
already
an advanced feature that Epic will probably never get.
Clearly, because Epic is so friggin' like comically far behind on their storefront. Comic in like sad clown kind of way, where it's funny, but it's also sad. But there's that technology exists for that kind of tracking where it's not an invasive tracker or anything like that, but it does keep up with it. And the fact that they asked EA how much time people played their games, and they were like, we don't have anything that tracks that. And it's like, you don't? You can't, like, nothing in your game, like, you never thought maybe somebody might want to go, I wonder how long I've played this or something? Like, you can put that in there because...
I'm going to call bullshit on that anyway, because you've got to figure out... You've got somebody that's working there that's figuring out how many players you have, how much money you're trying to make if you've got microtransactions built in. So how do you figure out the price?
Right.
How do you figure out the price for your boxes? Because there's no way that you're going to turn around and go, well, it's $100 for a pack of whatever the fuck it is that they're selling, and them not figuring out how much they're going to be making over a certain period of time. They've figured something out is creating the algorithm
at the very least.
That algorithm is somewhere in there.
Oh, they definitely have it.
And so they've got to figure out how they've created that price to start with. I mean, they just have to know. And the other thing that they asked them as well is, have you consulted any type of psychologist, psychiatrist, anything like that to have them advise you on how gaming affects, the type of game that you're creating, how it affects kids, how it affects people, all that. And they're like, nope.
Yep. They're like, not my
responsibility.
responsibility.
Yeah, literally said. They're like, do you not feel it's your responsibility? They're like, no, we don't. Like, really?
No, because they throw it off. It's one of those things where it's not my problem. It's parents' problems or it's personal individual problems. You should keep up with it yourself. I mean, yes and no. Because nobody, like, people at the casinos don't check you on the way in and be like, I'm allowing you in now. I'm going to put this wristband on you. And when it beeps, you have to leave because it means you've been here too long. Like, nobody keeps up with that when you're gambling.
Yeah, but those are adults. Like,
well, and I understand that, but if you click that you're 18, what are they going to do?
Yeah, that's, like, I mean, do you want to go with the of different...
It is a combination of... they should have tried to figure out how it was going to affect people in the long run. Like, these surprise mechanics, how addictive are they and everything. And I think that does fall on them a bit, but I 100% think that parents should definitely be more observant of their kids' playtime and what their kids are consuming and everything. Like, you have a lot of parental controls at your disposal. If you're not using them or interested in what your child is doing... It discounts when you're outraged about what's happening, you know?
Most of the time, the parents don't even know how to do any of the parental controls themselves.
Yep, which falls on the parent being negligent on that side of it. But I do think that there is some responsibility with the company as well to know what potential their product or their offering has.
It's because they're predatory. Like, they know what potential they have. It's just that they know which audience they can hit the hardest, and they know, like, again, they're businesses, they're here to make money. Which audience makes them audience will give you the highest chance of making money, and they have that algorithm. They're like, okay, this age group tends to spend more money, so target them and try to get more money out of that one. This one spends a medium amount, so placate them a little bit, and then so on and so forth. So they know exactly what they're doing.
They were asked on here about people playing an unhealthy amount. Like, how often, are you able to keep track of that at all? Just turn around, and this is for Epic, for Fortnite. And their counsel came back, said, we think it's difficult to have a categorical understanding of what is given. It varies from time to time and person to person. Well, again, that goes back to just send a fucking email once a week and somebody will know. We think this is extreme. Because you're saying a frequent player, their answer for how often a frequent player plays is once every 2 weeks or once every 30 days.
Yeah. It's like, that's
not a frequent player.
But
that's
the thing
a casual
player. They know that. They know that's a stupid answer. They know that they're talking to politicians that probably don't understand what they're asking about, since one of the questions the politicians asked were, how do you make a game? I mean, like, it's very obvious there's a disconnect, and it seems like Epic and EA were trying to play that stupidity. You obviously have no idea what you're talking about. So what is a frequent player? Once a month? This sounds great. Like, no, your frequent players play every day, and you design the game for it. Like, that's how you set that up. You know how that works. But you're trying to play them like they're stupid because they don't know. Because they didn't bother to educate themselves, because they have a specific agenda that they want to get across too, which is game's bad, and they're pursuing it. So, I mean, I don't know.
The labor MP. This goes back to the age issue on here too. The labor MP Ian Lucas went to Epic's lawyer, which is Pence, on why the company did not collect dates of birth for its users. Said, you don't think it's necessary to abide by data regulations by establishing the age of people who play your game? Flat out answer: we don't.
Ha.
Now,
Again, see that it's because they know they can make more. Like, they don't want to have that. Well, they definitely have that info, but they just don't want to acknowledge it. They're like, yeah, we don't care, because we already know that audience right there that you're trying to get us for.
They do have to abide by ESRB and everything, right? So how? It's like selling it on your platform. I guess if you're selling it, maybe there's a button that you have to click before you buy.
When you sign up your account, all you got to do is fudge. I mean, there's no way for them to check your actual birthday.
Exactly. Well, that's what I was saying.
Again,
it goes back. That's all you got to do. That's all you do is you just go in and make up what your birth date is. It's on there, and then
my birth date is 1774. Okay.
Right. If the kid's 105, okay, might be not a real person. There might be a way to check that out.
Oh, but again, we gotta be careful of what line, which is what they were letting the industry manage itself, and we're giving it plenty of time to deal with this problem themselves. But they're not doing anything. So
well, but they've got a PEGI system that's built in their particular case. When you're talking about Europe, you got the MSRB here, but the problem you run into it creates a totally different issue, because it's no longer in the hands of retailers. When you've got a person in front of you that tells you all the information on why it's rated the way it is, which they're required to do, now you make an informed opinion as a parent. Am I going to allow this to happen, or am I not going to allow this to happen? The majority of the time, here in the U.S. at least, they're going to say, I don't care, let them have it, because they don't want to hear the bitching. But when you're doing a digital market, which is the way this one's set up, and your consoles are automatically set up as 18 plus, and your client is set up to where you can plug in whatever age you want to as yourself, there is no way to regulate that. Without
not in this part of the world.
No, there's not. I mean, like you could. I mean, I guess theoretically you could. As soon as you download Windows, set it. Because you have multiple accounts that are there, you could maybe put a parental in that way for people that are running Windows, and you say, "Hey, kid, this is your account," and kid kicks on that account, and you don't ever tell them your password for your main account, and maybe that's how you do it on the PC end of it.
Make your main account admin, and they can't download or do anything unless they get admin's permission.
Right.
But again, the issue is that parents don't want to learn how to do any of that, and a lot of them do not know how to do it.
Right. Which is not Epic or EA's fault.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not on them. That's on lazy parents. This is what I said.
Right.
That's a shared responsibility.
It's just a whole clusterfuck of problems here.
It is.
But I think
I really feel like it's anybody that's like 35 plus going, I don't care about all you young people garbage things. Just play this and shut up. Like, you can't be like that in this climate anymore.
Well, but I think that they have this mentality of. I think people have a mentality of, okay, this doesn't have people getting their heads cut off. This doesn't. It's not one where they're going in and mass murdering a bunch of people. So when they're looking at something like Fortnite, which is this nice, cute, cartoony-looking game, parents are okay with their kids playing it, right? Because they don't understand what the rest of that causes. Mm-hmm. And how often they're playing it, how addicted they are to it.
As long as there's no nudity, but most parents are okay with violence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's...
Yep.
I just wonder how kids talk their parents into credit cards, like running up an absorbent credit card bill without the parents going, something weird's going on here. Why is it so expensive?
Because it just starts with, like, okay, to be a kid, you could be slightly manipulative. Oh, I really want this skin. It looks so cool. Look at this. I put a lot of time. I played this game a lot. All right, here, little Jimmy, you can have here, I'll put this in for you. You can buy this skin. And then because they're dumb, and every client does this, it says, save your card. Yeah. And then they buy a skin a week, okay, and it's like $2, and a couple weeks later they buy another skin, a couple more skins. It's $4 or $5, stuff that just doesn't really seem to pop up as fireworks in the credit bill, because some people just do auto pay and they never look at anything, and they just pay stuff constantly, and they never see these things kind of popping up where they are. So
I think that's part of it. I think you also have, because the big thing, the currency for Fortnite is V-Bucks. So everybody, you can get V-Bucks. Well, there are streamers that are out there that, once they started adding to streams to where you could purchase packs or V-Bucks or whatever from it, that people would watch those particular streamers, and they would, I can click on this, and it might be using a different account than what's actually on the on their PC or their or whatever, and so all they have to do is transfer that code over, and then boom, they've got it. So that's maybe how they're doing some of it. I mean, I've got a friend of mine, Mythic Trees, is a Mixer streamer, and in a year's time, he went from starting on Mixer to getting over 70,000 followers and has like 500 people watching him at a time. But the way he got started was he changed the in-chat currency where they can play the games and stuff in their chat to V-Bucks. So he just changed his title to Free V-Bucks. And boom, everybody came in and they were watching him play that way. And so that's where your addiction's at. When people think that they can get free V-Bucks, I mean, that's just, it's
free stuff in general.
And now he plays Smite and a bunch of other games. He doesn't even play Fortnite anymore. I don't even think he's got it loaded on his system anymore. But he's still got a lot of people watching. But that's how he got started. And I think that shows you where the addiction level is. If people think they can get it, they're going to get it. And kids, if they think they can get something for free, because they haven't lived in this world to realize that you don't get hardly anything for free. I mean, they're gonna try to do it, and also I don't think kids have I mean, it goes back to the blind people that are just paying for their credit cards, but parents nowadays are using that as a babysitting tool. So their thought process is probably, well, if little Jimmy is, bought a pack today that's $25 and he's spent 6 hours playing that game, it would have cost me $60-something just to have somebody watch him, so I actually saved money. You know what I mean? So it's like, I guess that's mentality. That's the only thing I can figure. I mean, I played video games when I was a kid, but I had 2 video games basically, and I'd put one in and I'd have to beat it, and then I'd have to go to the other one and have to beat it if I was going to play
back and
that
forth
way.
because you're playing the same ones over and over again because the market wasn't so flooded.
That's how you get good, though, right? You just
that is how I am so good at SSX Tricky.
Yes.
You build that muscle memory into your hands, and it never goes away. It gets a little rusty, but when you pull out those old games, you're like, oh man, this is like, I know exactly how to do all this.
Yeah, you want to play some
Exactly.
SSX Chicken?
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Your ass.
Yeah. I'm faster than her, but she's much more tricky than me.
Which means I get speed boost because I can do tricks. I think one of the other things that's important to point out is the fact that they did try to compare it to Kinder Surprise or the Kinder Eggs or LOL Surprise, which was one I hadn't heard of. Hatchimals I have. My niece was a big fan for the long time of getting the little pet shop blind packs. And I'm like, I told my sister, like, you can't do that. Like, there's an absorbent amount of money for repeat garbage. But I think the flip side of that, too, is that, I mean, Fortnite's going to be the outlier on this one, but, like, things like your FIFAs or your other, like, Star Wars game that had the loot boxes and everything, you'd already paid $60 for the game, and then you were asking them to spend more money in these garbage microtransactions. At least with the toys, those were all standalone, like, you knew what to expect from that. It's going to be one piece of garbage. It is a standalone. You didn't have to buy the thing that it goes in and then buy them for it,
I think the difference between FIFA and Fortnite, though, is Fortnite presents itself as a free game, right?
Yes, and then shoves many microtransactions at you.
Yeah, and then you have microtransactions for if you want to change what your character looks like and everything else. And you can unlock ones as your progression stuff that you can move through.
Right.
Too. Where FIFA, if I want to play a game of FIFA, I can play with my friends online. I can play an entire story mode that they've got set up. I can play an entire a season by myself. I can do all that. Where their microtransactions come in is with Ultimate Game, which is literally all-star games. So you're putting these cards out there to create ultimate teams to go in and play against other people online that way. That's where theirs comes in. So it's their multiplayer side that they've added the microtransactions to.
It's pay-to-win style, isn't it?
Yeah, sort of.
Okay.
I mean,
Is it loot box style though with that? Where it's
because basically you're buying a card
also...
pack. You're buying a card pack.
It's definitely pay to win.
It's pay to win, but it's gamble to win though. Instead
well,
of just being able to outright buy the players you want.
Get decent.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, because I don't ever play it because I don't really care about playing it that way. I've tried because you get a certain amount when you buy the $60 game. You get a certain amount of them, and you can go through and unlock a certain amount of them too. But so I tried to play it one time, but I just didn't like it because the way it was designed. I'd just rather play as a regular team and go through and play against somebody that way. And so I wasn't a big fan of doing that. And I guess there's a lot of people that are, and there's a lot of people that watch people do it. But I just don't understand why you want to pay for, like, because you have like a bronze, silver, and gold pack that you can buy, and each one's worth a little bit more, but each one also has, you can buy gold packs, you're going to get bigger ones, So it's just kind of like, come on, man. So, but that's what EA was really under fire for, was because of the way those packs are set up in FIFA, because that's one of the more popular games in the UK. So I just don't understand. We've got to change the environment. We all know we have to do it. Epic and EA, we know, are two of the worst at it. Activision's pretty bad themselves.
But see, I like that you say we all know we have to do it. No, it's people like us that know that this change has to happen. But you've got people that are like, I've got mommy and daddy's credit card right here. I'm gonna be the best. Spend, spend, spend. I don't care what this does to the industry.
But I would also say that when that kid hits 18 years old, I think the mentality is going to change and get closer to where we're at. Versus
because they won't have that free access.
I mean,
to money.
Having two kids of my own, I can tell you now that the kids will come in all the time asking for stuff, and it's a real simple answer. No is the answer. But daddy, and crying, and then you go, it doesn't work on me. Bye bye. It's like.
But
and so those kids know.
Some of the people that spend a lot of money in these games are adults too, though. And that's what makes it really unfortunate, because those are people that know better, or should know better, or should have some sort of consequence to doing that. But there's, like, for some people, apparently money just grows on trees, so...
Well, and here's the thing. I don't actually have a problem. If somebody's got the money to pay, and this is what they do for their free time, they love playing Fortnite, and they love buying all these skins that do nothing to help you win the game, have at it. I don't think you're smart doing it. But at the same time, have at it, have a good time.
But on the flip side, games like that are highly successful, making that much money, are just setting it up so that other companies want to emulate that, and other companies will use it more nefariously, like EA's done with Star Wars pay-to-win mechanics, and that is lucrative because you've excused those people's behavior, where it's like, if you've got that money, go ahead, spend all you want because you're an adult. But you're setting up a model for every other game to follow like that, and that's not something that's healthy.
But I'm saying the games need to change, but it's one of those where if I don't, the pay to win model is a definite problem.
Yeah.
And that's
which is why
big
EA
issue.
said they're
Especially
ditching loot boxes for surprise mechanics. They definitely said surprise mechanics.
Surprise.
Every time I hear that, I just keep thinking, like, this isn't rat poison. This is rat deterrent.
Yeah.
It's like an analogy.
We're making it, sound friendlier. You're not killing the rats. You're just making sure they don't show up.
Right. It's just, I don't know. I think first of all, let's talk about two lawyers that were completely unprepared in any way whatsoever to show up in front of Parliament. Questions? What are those?
I also think it's funny that, right, like, as this is happening, Gears of War is now made by the Coalition, so it's not an Epic property anymore, but they just announced that they're not doing loot boxes or DLC this year for Gears 5, or this coming year for Gears 5. So I think it's interesting which companies are starting to try to really distance themselves that like haven't really been caught in the crossfire but don't want to be, you know? Like, we're just going to go ahead and throw this out there. This is not what we're doing. And at the same time, I understand it's also a little bit of a PR boost for yourself because how negative everybody looks at loot boxes right now, which we should. It's one of those things where it's kind of an interesting, yeah, that's nice, but are you doing this just because you want the publicity boost or because you actually feel that these are bad things? So, I guess the upside and the real win is that they're just not there for that. I guess, sure, we'll take that little win.
Maybe so. I think we'd get...
I don't mind loot boxes if it's something you earn, like Overwatches, you earn them as you go. Whatever, okay.
But you could still buy them. If they were just a normal mechanic of the game, that would be perfectly fine. They're just a reward that you earn for playing, and that's it.
Well, that's what, and see, that's the way Apex is set up. Apex is set up to where you get everything that you can unlock are the same things you could buy. Where Fortnite was set up to where you can earn the things as you go because they do have their season pass thing where you can buy a season pass and just unlock it all at one time if you wanted to. But you could earn it, right, as you go and just play it a lot. Or you could buy the V-Bucks but the stuff that you were buying is a limited time. It's like 1 day or 2 days or 3 days that they might have something up there that you're buying, and that's the only time you can get it. So that's enticing for people to buy things that they can't get any other time.
Yeah, you're trying to force their hand on it basically it's a supply and demand thing. You have a supply, you're creating the demand by making it a limited time supply. So you're artificially inflating that demand.
Right.
Which is why Overwatch's style is pretty good. Like when they do their events and whatnot, it's a limited supply, but you have this 2-3 weeks of playing to get whatever you want or try to get whatever you want.
Well, and to be fair, if you want to buy the loot boxes, you can buy the loot boxes that are there. Or you could save up 9 million of them like Chicken has.
Well, and you get the currency in those too. So you're earning your loot boxes just by playing, and then that gives you currency. So if you by the end of an event don't have everything that you wanted out of the loot boxes because that drop system is RNG garbage sometimes, you'll probably have at least enough coins to buy one of the ones that you wanted, one of the skins, or something like that. Although I don't know, the whole loot box thing is really weird, and I think that it was one of those things that the industry stumbled on and took off running with them before they really understood how to use them properly or what they were going to do,
Because I know what the premise was for them, but was Overwatch the first one that actually had them in the game like that?
No. You could buy mystery boxes in League of Legends before Overwatch existed.
Yeah, but could you unlock a mystery box?
Could you unlock
like if you
box?
By playing a game? Yeah, because think about the way I'm asking this question.
No, they were just purchased.
Okay, so Overwatch was the first one that would unlock them by playing the game, basically. Like you had them by playing. I
can't say that for certain because I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if that was.
Which I'm wondering if that's what, because remember when you usually talk about loot boxes, that Overwatch's name usually comes up as one of the first ones a lot of times.
I think it's because it was the most prominent, because that loot boxes were the only way to get things at the start of the game, because obviously the game had just started, you didn't have currency saved up, and there was no way to buy currency.
Right.
So, I mean...
Yeah, you can buy the boxes, but not the currency. So...
Which I think is another... kind of thing.
I don't mind it because, like you said, you could unlock the box and it have currency in it based on what you have, right? So that doesn't bother me.
If you could buy currency to buy whatever you want specifically, it would be a lot nicer.
It would be a lot nicer.
Instead of having to rely on the RNG mechanic of purchasing loot boxes to try to get whatever you want.
It would take out the gambling part of it.
Yes, it makes the world so much better because that's what Heroes of the Storm did after a while, because it was just loot box based. It was buy whatever you want into a loot box based system and then back to buy whatever you want, because you made more money when people were like, okay, cool, I want to buy this, I want this, I'm gonna go ahead and buy it.
But then you run into the same thing that Fortnite's running into, which is how close do you come before it's predatory, to the point where I feel like with Overwatch there's they have their set heroes and everything, and there's a smaller pool of stuff to buy than Fortnite, because even with their limited time skins and whatnot, one, they all have a set cap price, and two, I just feel like there's a little bit of a difference because of the size of the stuff, maybe. So I don't know if you took that out, would it be looked at like Fortnite, where you're asking people to pay money for a bunch of different skins? Because they don't.
I think the difference is, though, I think yes if you create a currency, and the only way you can get that skin is to buy it. That's where it becomes Fortnite. But because of the way that the game is set up, you can play it and still have a possibility of unlocking that. Then it's not Fortnite.
Okay.
Because
I see what you're saying.
Because Fortnite literally creates skins that you can only get for purchase.
Okay,
That's
I got you. I see what you're saying now.
And with Overwatch, you could play the game and get them. Like, there's you could take the entire money part out of Overwatch, and you could still acquire everything. You take the money out of Fortnite, and you can't do anything.
Well, I mean, you can still get stuff for Fortnite, but it's not going to be the ones that they have available to purchase. It's not going to be the ones they have available to purchase.
The stuff like the banana outfit and all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, because like some of that stuff is available because of the season pass. So if you complete your season pass, do all the challenges that they ask you to do, and you complete it, then you unlock some of those cool things. But then they also have things available in between that are daily stuff that you have to buy in order to be able to get it. Which Realm Royale works very similar to that too. But Realm Royale's is, I don't know, I think their system is it's kind of a combination between that and the way Dauntless is set up. So, because Dauntless you could buy a season pass and stuff too, but it really doesn't. I just play the damn game and then I don't have to worry about it.
Well, now that we've spent like 45 minutes talking about this, you want to quickly go over the rest of the news?
Sure.
I mean,
the one article.
Well, I mean, as far as legal stuff goes, the U.S. government's blocked League of Legends in Iran and Syria, so that's a thing now. That games can be included in sanctions.
That is crazy. They basically just completely blocked. I mean, you got to go through them.
I didn't think about that being part of a trade sanction. I never thought about that being part of it, but it does make sense because it does. Because in this case, it's the Riot game, right? It's League of Legends. Yep. Which does have transactions in it. So therefore, it would be under the trade agreement. So therefore, they couldn't do it. Yeah. They would have had to block it. Which now you got. I mean, I'd also like to see how many gamers they have that are playing League of Legends in those two countries too. You know what I mean? Because there's gonna be some pissed off nerds somewhere in those two countries that are like,
the ones that are more passionate will just use a VPN to play. So.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
that's some of the way around it right there. Not that we're advocating for you to do anything that you shouldn't be doing.
I ain't saying shit.
Especially in another country, but.
Yeah. But I think this is the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah,
where games have been part of the sanction block.
Shows you how far we've come, though, right?
And I wonder if it's just this one. Like, because you got stuff like FIFA and all of that, Fortnite, that we've already established makes money, too, so can you still play those?
I think they would all follow under it. I think, I'm just not sure if Fortnite is already played there in those two countries. Because it's banned in, like PUBG's banned in, India or whatever.
Yeah,
you can't play it in public.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be that they don't allow those games there.
Or maybe we just haven't, because this one was something that was posted on Reddit for anybody to know.
But I am kind of surprised with League of Legends because I thought Iran and Syria both have really strict guidelines on what women could wear. And so, and aren't the women in League of Legends usually kind of low cut and
I want to say that they have alternative splash art and character skins for certain countries. Because I think China has alternatives as well.
Yes.
So they look different. Okay. So I guess technically that's where they get past with that.
Okay. So I guess maybe you're not able to do that with Fortnite, so maybe Fortnite's not there. I would be interested to see if they are or not.
Maybe.
Because I feel like it would be easier to do with League of Legends versus some of the other games that are out there. And then for FIFA, I don't know. I mean, I feel like FIFA would be pretty popular in both of those countries because they both have, soccer programs. So I don't know. That's very interesting to me.
Well,
I guess we'll see. Maybe next week we'll have more that'll pop out that of who else has gotten banned on there. Grif called it. Should these be banned or should they not? I think that's it.
I just figured anything with money in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Anyway, all right. Well, good. I'm gonna go record some Red Dead. So I didn't get
Awesome
to
sauce.
I'm gonna go ride horses.
Ride horses.
No idea what that
Yeah,
is gonna
you mean crash them?
Dude, I'm catching up on a lot of Rooster Teeth podcast stuff, and I just watched a minute and a half clip of Bernie Burns. He put together every time he crashed his horse in Red Dead, and it was hilarious.
There you go. You can do
He's
that.
much rougher on the horses than I am. I don't want to hurt
That's because you
mine.
care about the horse.
Yeah, I do. He had a different horse in every scene too. I'm like, how do you do that? Stop. Bond with them. What's wrong with you?
No. Throws them off cliffs and then gets a new one.
Clearly. Ugh, rude.
Well, you can't punch them anymore, so without a punching back. So I guess they decided to do it that way.
I was gonna say you can. My sister punched hers. They just punch back,
Yeah, they do.
Deflate, like in the first Red Dead.
The deflating. So bad. Oh, my Lord. We do appreciate everybody that hangs out with each and every week at Infinite Respawn. As always, you can check us out on Twitter at InfiniteResPC. You can check me out personally at MDB Oaktree. Check out Grif.
At Grif Chicken.
Check out Chicken.
At Elite Chicken 313.
Check out Baka.
Baka Pickle.
Also, make sure that you go to Grif's YouTube channel where she's currently punching horses.
I'm not punching horses. I don't punch my horse.
She's going to punch you.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Currently riding horses. Crashing.
Would that make Oak her horse?
I hope not.
Oh, Lord. Also, make sure
you... easier just to put him down, bro.
Oh, no. Oh, my God.
Then she starts beating me afterwards.
Mild stabbings.
Mild stabbings. I knew it would show up eventually. Mild stabbings. Also, make sure you go to twitch.tv/Elite Chicken 313. Chicken, what you got this week?
Nothing, because SGDQ is this week, and I will be hosting it all week long. So make sure to check it out, people. It's a huge event, and it's fantastic. And donate all your monies to it. Don't buy microtransactions or loot boxes. Donate it to people who can actually use it.
It's not microtransactions. It's recurrent user spending now, by the way.
Sorry. It's surprise mechanics, too. Don't spend it on surprise mechanics or recurring user paying, whatever the fuck you called it. Whatever. Don't give a fuck. Spend it on them. They need your money.
Also, make sure you go to mixer.com/MDB Oaktree. Also, one final thing to our friend Johnny Chiodini.
That's two things.
Well,
shut up.
One final thing to our friend Johnny Chiodini. Congratulations on the new gig that you got. He is a friend of ours. He's been on the show a couple times as well. His inspiration for part of the show, and of course been at Eurogamer for 4 years. And he is moving on to do tabletop gaming stuff, which he's very passionate about. If you follow Johnny at all, please make sure that you do. He's an awesome dude. And for Infinite Respawn, I'm Oaktree.
I'm Grif.
I'm Chicken.
I'm Baka.
See ya.
Bye.